Welcome back to our deep dive into high-yield savings accounts. I'm excited to continue this conversation and help you make informed decisions about your savings.
Yeah, it's great to be back. In part one, we unpack the basics of HYSAs and how they can be a real game changer,
Mm-hmm.
especially for those of us who are building wealth through regular savings from our biweekly paychecks.
That's right. And in this part, we'll roll up our sleeves and get into the nitty-gritty of actually choosing the right HYSA for you.
There's so many options out there. Where do we even begin?
Well, Investopedia offers some great guidance on what to prioritize when you're comparing different HYSAs.
Okay, let's break it down. First up, interest rates.
You want the highest APY you can find, of course. That's the whole point of a HYSA.
But interest rates can fluctuate, right?
They can, so it's important to look beyond just the current rate being offered. Look at the bank's track record. Have they consistently offered competitive rates over time?
That's a smart point.
Hmm.
We don't want to chase a fleeting high rate only to see it plummet a few months down the line. What else should we be looking at?
Minimum deposit requirements are important. This is the amount of money you need to open the account. Some HYSAs have no minimum deposit at all, while others might require $500 to $1,000 or even more.
So if you're just starting out with a smaller amount to save and no minimum, HYSA might be the better choice.
Exactly. And then there's the minimum balance requirement.
What's the difference between that and the minimum deposit?
So the minimum balance is the amount you need to keep in the account to avoid monthly fees or to earn the advertised APY.
So if my balance dips below that minimum, I might miss out on the high interest rate or get hit with a fee.
That's right. Some banks might waive the monthly fee if you set up direct deposit or maintain a certain average balance. Those are things to look into.
It's all about maximizing those earnings and minimizing those fees.
Yeah.
Speaking of fees, are there other kinds of fees we should be watching out for?
Absolutely. Look out for things like monthly maintenance fees, excessive transaction fees, or inactivity fees. You want your money growing, not being chipped away by hidden charges.
So fees are a big one. What about accessing your money?
Yeah, that's another important consideration, especially with online banks. Some might have limitations on withdrawals or transfers, so make sure you understand those restrictions before you commit.
You don't want to be caught in a situation where you need to access your money quickly and find out you can't.
Exactly. It's also important to consider how you can deposit money into the account. Do they offer mobile check deposits? Can you easily link it to your checking account for transfers? These conveniences can make a big difference in managing your savings, especially if you're making regular contributions from your biweekly paychecks.
Right? Those small regular deposits can really add up over time, especially when you factor in the magic of compounding.
Compounding is your best friend when it comes to growing your money. The more frequently interest is compounded, the faster your savings will grow. So look for HYSAs that compound daily or monthly.
Okay, so we've got interest rates, minimums, fees, access, and compounding, a lot to consider. How do we actually go about choosing the right HYSA with all of these factors?
There are some great online resources that can help. Sites like Investopedia and other reputable financial sites allow you to compare different HYSAs side by side.
So we can filter by interest rate, minimum deposit fees, and other features to narrow down the options. Do these sites offer any other helpful information?
Many of them include user reviews and ratings, which can be really insightful. You can get a sense of other people's experiences with different banks and their HYSAs.
That's a great tip. And I love that you don't have to limit yourself to just one HYSA.
Right. You can have multiple HYSAs if that works best for you. You could have one dedicated to your emergency fund, another for a specific savings goal like a down payment on a house, and another for just parking extra cash.
Having those separate accounts can make it much easier to stay organized and track your progress, especially if you're working towards multiple goals.
Absolutely. It can be really motivating to see those balances grow over time.
So let's bring this back to a listener who's getting paid biweekly and wants to make the most of those paychecks. What's a practical strategy they can implement?
Setting up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your chosen HYSA every time you get paid is a game changer.
Even if it's just $25 or $50 per paycheck, that consistent flow of savings combined with the power of compounding can really add up.
And as you get raises or bonuses, you can increase those automatic transfers. It's like putting your savings on autopilot.
You're removing the temptation to spend that money because it's already tucked away in your HYSA earning interest.
Yeah.
And when you see that balance growing, it can be really motivating to keep saving.
Exactly. It becomes a visual reminder of your progress and the future you're building.
So to wrap up part 2, choosing the right HYSA involves carefully considering those key factors we talked about: interest rates, fees, minimum balances, access, and compounding.
Once you've found the right fit, setting up those automatic transfers from your biweekly paychecks can make a world of difference in building wealth consistently and effortlessly.
Stay tuned for Part 3, where we'll explore some additional strategies for maximizing your savings and reaching your financial goals even faster.